Hello there, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Sorry I'm a little bit late today. I've had a bit of a day, but um, looks like we have YouTube working already. At least on my end, which is pretty awesome and crazy because YouTube normally doesn't work for me. But hopefully you can all hear me well. This is a new game, and I have just barely set it up myself. So do let me know if audios are off or anything like that, and I will switch them. I'm just judging this by eyesight of where audio levels are in my program. So anyway, but yeah, we were doing Slay the Princess. I watched Markiplier play this, and I wanted to do it myself, so I've already played a lot of it. Wasn't... Oh, okay. The lighting just changed a lot here. But I wasn't quite sure how good this game would be for streaming specifically, so I didn't try to, like, do it exclusively streaming, so I just want to play it. But I got through a lot of it, and I'm pretty close to the end, and I really want to get to the end of it, so I figure this is as good as time as any to finish it. Sharpen the camera. Alright, let me see. I can do this. There. Is that good? I think that's better. Kind of hard to tell with how small this box is on my end, but anyway. Yeah, so here we go. I don't know how familiar you all are with this game, but if you are familiar, I've gotten a horror game. Yes, Spoon, we're doing a horror game. Hello. I need my mom to sign the permission slip. Oh, Lord. Have you seen this game, Spoon? Yeah, as you can see, I've played a lot. So, if you know much about this game, I have gotten to the point where I have one more vessel to get. You have no idea, really. It's really good. It's a point-and-click game, but it's one of those where, like, you have tons of different choices and you get totally different outcomes based on your choice and all of that. It's interesting. I'm starting towards the end of the game, so you might be a little bit lost, but there's a lot of, like, repetition in a way.
In the woods.
So,
and at the end of that
but I like
path
this game a lot
is
already.
a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess.
Also, with this game, like, once you get to the end of it, there's so many different ways to take it that the idea is you probably want to go back and play it more times and try more things. The sound's working? Cool. Glad I got the audio levels right, because I was just eyeballing that. But yeah, so if I get through the rest of this quickly, then I'll probably either start a new one entirely, or I might go to, because I've been saving regularly, I might go back to some of my saves and see if I can choose different options and see what happens there. But anyway,
You're
let's
here
keep going.
to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
This is a W category, by the way. Nice. That's good. Alright. So I've already asked him all of these things. But this is my first one, so I'll throw this out there just so y'all can hear it.
Of course I haven't. Why would I even consider that? Nobody wants the world to
Have
end.
you ever considered that maybe I want the world to end? So this is his response.
I mean, maybe some people do, like nihilists, or very, very evil people, but surely you're not one of those, right?
I have gotten him to call me a nihilist before. So, I sure am. But yeah, we're just gonna continue.
You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within. We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them. Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Here we go.
The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade.
Alright, I'm gonna do my little save here. And then I will let the dialogue play out, even though I've heard this before.
The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Ah, look at that. So all the other times except for the first time, I did take the blade the first time that I went down. Maybe even the second time. But since that I've only ever gone without the blade. So now you can see it's blurred out, or not blurred out, but I can't choose to just enter the basement without it. I have to take the blade.
You take the blade from the table. It'd be rather
Which makes
difficult
sense,
to slay the
'cause
princess and
I was
save
thinking
the world
this time I would
without
take the
it.
blade because I was running out of options for the other option. But, so for Spoon and anyone else who might be watching this that doesn't know it, this is kind of like almost a Groundhog Day type of situation in this game. Not quite like that, but similar, where you kind of live the same experience over and over again. But some of you and some of the world and the other people remember it and change according to it, and some of it fully resets. It's actually pretty complicated because some things reset more than others and some things don't reset at all. So yeah, I have heard this before. The narrator here resets every time. He resets the most often. But anyway, without further ado,
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp, a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. If the princess really lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her voice carries up the stairs.
Who's there?
She sounds dangerous. It's almost as if she's the one in charge down here.
Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation. Good. You're still listening to reason. You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement.
as soon as I got the chance, it was actually my second time going through this scenario, I went up to this chain over here, because it let me inspect it, and the chain wrapped around me, and I got stuck in here until the building disintegrated around us. It was pretty crazy. Didn't see that coming, but it was really interesting.
She's so coldly beautiful. Is she really a threat to the world?
Focus on the task at hand.
And there you are. Are you here to kill me or something? Then why did you bring a knife with you? How about you drop it, and then we can chat.
I think I've chosen that option before.
She makes a compelling point. What if we just dropped the blade and talked? Look at her. It's not like she's a threat.
I think real quick I am gonna change some settings here. I feel like the music is overpowering the voices quite a little bit here.
Don't you dare. It's fine. We can decide what we want to do after we talk to her. Maybe she really is a monster. But killing someone in cold blood isn't very becoming of us.
I have dropped it before, but since it is gonna let me drop it, that must mean that there's more to explore there.
The blade
So I think I'll
tumbles
do
out
that.
of your trembling hands and drops to the floor with an unceremonious clang.
Because something that I also want to do with this playthrough, because this is my first time playing through this, is that I want to play it in the way that, like, I would more realistically do it in this situation, because a big part of this game is that, like, the outcome is very changed by how you react and interact with the world and the characters and whatnot in this, and so I'm interested to see what my version of that will look like playing the way that I would naturally play it, as in, like, an authentic way to myself, not just in trying to look for certain outcomes or trying to, you know, just play around. Like, I want to play it the way that I would actually, you know, think through it in this situation in a way. So that's kind of where I'm going with this, because I have seen the one ending of this when Markiplier played it, but anyway, yeah, that's all.
Thank you. Maybe now we can just talk.
Against your better judgment, you step forward to speak with the princess face to face, unarmed.
It was a badass game. It really was. He got some interesting situations.
We'll be fine. I don't know what you're hoping to accomplish here, but I can assure you there's no reasoning with her. Just make sure you don't forget about the blade on the floor. You're going to need it.
So here we are. What an awkward start to a relationship.
I've asked this stuff. I think I am gonna have to attack her here. Because this is the same stuff that I've gotten before, and I chose to not attack before, so. I haven't asked her this before, so.
I know. I just said that. Now why are you here to kill me?
Believe me.
And do you think asking me what to believe is going to suddenly make everything crystal clear? Let's not pretend that's going to happen. As far as you're concerned, and as far as they're concerned, I'm going to say whatever I have to get out of here. That's just the dynamic of our situation.
You can't. Don't.
I'm guessing you don't have the key then. I'm sure there's a key somewhere around here, and if there isn't, well, we can always put that knife to good use.
Her sharp eyes settle on the edge of the blade. She isn't suggesting what I think she's suggesting, right? She is.
Alright. I guess I'll click this, because I already know the answers to the other stuff. Also, we need to start to verbalize what I click on. I need to... Oh my god. My water's stuck underneath my microphone. Okay, we've talked enough.
Oh, have you decided what to do with me?
You know why you're here.
So I can do this. We'll see how far I can go before it
Have
blocks
to
me.
be kidding me. You walk up to the chains binding the princess to the wall
Oh,
and give them a
I'm
tug.
inspecting the chains is what I clicked on.
They're large and heavy, far too solid for you to even imagine trying to break them apart.
If you don't have the key, maybe you should go looking for it. I'm sure.
Doubtful. Whoever locked the princess away down here intended for her to never see the light of day. They wouldn't have just left the key to her chains somewhere in the cabin.
That would be fine. I can lose an arm.
I'm asking her if there's anything else that we can try.
She speaks with almost complete nonchalance.
I'm so bad at verbalizing
If we
that.
were stuck down here for long enough, I'm sure we'd be nonchalant about cutting our way out. Anything to finally be free. You attempt to make your way out of the basement, but the door at the top of the stairs slams shut. You hear the click of a lock sliding into place. Is someone else here?
None of these do anything, so I'm just gonna return to the bottom of the stairs.
You make your way back to the bottom of the stairs. This would have been so much easier if you'd simply slain her like you were supposed to. Easier for whom? Easier for everyone.
I heard the door slam. They locked you down here too, didn't they? The knife. Pick it up and cut me out of here.
You won't like what happens if you do that.
I can't click save the princess. Let's see how far it'll let me
Against your
go.
better judgment, you place the blade against the princess's arm, just above the massive, unyielding chain. You cut into her flesh. The blade is sharp, and you make quick work of it. Before long, you're able to crack through bone, and she pulls the bleeding stub of her arm through the iron.
I know, right,
gauntlet.
Strin? It gets even more crazy than this, too, depending on what you choose.
She didn't so much as utter a sound.
She digested me in one of the other ones. That was pretty whack.
Free from her bindings, the princess turns to face you, her fierce gaze meeting your eye. How is she so composed after losing an arm? It's like she isn't even bothered by it.
Thank you. Now let's get out of here.
No, we
Approaching
won't
the
have
locked
any
door.
of that. The stakes are too high. You can't just let her escape into the world. No. As the princess
didn't mean to
approaches
do
the
that.
bottom stair, your body steps forward and raises the blade.
The narrator's controlling me.
Wait, this isn't fair. You can't just do that. Watch me.
I'm interested that it's let me go this far. It's gonna let me warn her? Really? Because I've played through all of this in one of my other attempts,
Stop that.
and it stopped me within
I thought
this
this
next
was a little
question.
too
so-
easy.
Your body lunges forward to sink the blade into her back, but the princess swiftly moves out of the way before you can connect. Stop it. Stop resisting me. I am trying to get you out of here alive.
Okay, so this is where it left me last time too, where I'd played through all of this before, so it wouldn't let me resist here. So that's interesting, because I thought it was gonna stop me in this way sooner. But I didn't. So I guess we'll just
Thank you.
see what happens.
You swing your arm towards her throat, the blade singing through the air. But she's ready for it. She grabs your arm, her grip like a stone vice.
That's different.
You drop the blade.
That's
Pathetically.
different.
She lets go, and faster than you can react, rears back and hits you with a bone-shattering haymaker. There's a ringing in your ears. You're fairly certain you can feel bone grinding against bone where she fractured your jaw, but your body isn't allowing you to feel much right now, adrenaline coursing through your system and numbing your nerves. You fall to your knees. You're barely able to bring your trembling arms up to defend yourself before she hits you again.
Damn.
Every blow is as punishing as the first. You feel bones shatter with every impact, unknown ruptures blossoming with blood somewhere inside of you.
You poor thing. I'll go ahead and put you out of your misery.
She places a confident heel on your chest and pushes you down to the ground. Her knee falls to your throat, your windpipe crushed beneath a weight you didn't think her slight form could possibly possess.
Damn, girl, you had the
Can't
knife.
just end like this, right? I'm sorry, but it's over. Everything goes dark, and you die.
Alright, so that last bit, everything else was identical to what I'd been
You're on
through
a
before,
path
but that
in
last
the
scene
woods,
there
and at
was
the
different.
end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess.
I mean, she did still kill me the other time, but it was with the knife and it was more humane, we'll just say.
You're here to slay her.
So,
If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
yeah. Already done these before, it doesn't really get you anywhere. A lot more humane. Uh-huh. Once I finish this playthrough, I want to do another one where I, like, really do the whole, like, back off avoidance thing and see where that goes. Because that's, like, my first inclination when it comes to stuff like this is to, like, explore and find out new information and see things. But then my second inclination is just to try to push the boundaries in the other way of seeing how far I can extract myself from the situation. So I'm playing this one like full explore, get involved, and push the boundaries in that way, but then the next time I want to, you know, do it in the opposite way of backing out. But we're not going to do that this time.
A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says. We might as well just pledge ourselves to her and stop pretending we're capable of doing anything in this situation. She probably doesn't even need to
I haven't
try
heard this
to
guy
overpower
before.
us.
But it makes sense because I don't think I've ever killed her in any of these. She has died in some of them, but I don't think I have killed her in any of them. So, it would make sense that I would get a voice like this at this point.
Can we tone down the pessimism just a smidge? I'm not being a pessimist. I'm just being realistic. You're being annoying. Just ignore their bickering, and whatever you do, don't pledge yourself to her. I cannot stress enough how absolutely catastrophic that would be for everyone, yourself included. I agree. If she's wrongfully imprisoned, then we should rescue her, but if he's telling the truth, we shouldn't just hand her the world on a silver platter. Rescue her? Given the stakes of the situation, there isn't really a difference between rescuing her and pledging yourself to her. Either would be terrible. So please try to ignore both of those knuckleheads and focus on saving the world. Let's not make this harder than it has to be.
The music's getting real spooky.
If that's what you want, I guess I don't have a say here. The interior of the cabin is larger and more grandiose than its humble exterior would suggest. The only furniture of note is a massive marble altar with a pristine blade perched on its edge.
Pretty crazy. I am gonna do a new save here. Alright.
The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right. Why do we feel so small?
Yeah.
We don't feel small. We are small.
Let's look at the
Walk
mirror.
up to the wall next to the basement.
I have tried looking at it and I've
It's
tried
a wall.
ignoring it.
There isn't much to see here.
What are you talking about? This isn't a wall. It's a mirror.
Wiping off the layer
Reach
of grime
forward,
and it's
rub
gone.
your hand against the cabin wall. I hope you know how ridiculous you look right now. We should count ourselves lucky. Some things are better left unseen.
I wonder why that is, that there's like a mirror that isn't really there every time you come back for the second round. I can enter without the blade. I guess we'll do that, because I've kind of been
No blade
pushing
this
that the
time.
whole time.
Yeah. Maybe she'll be more
So,
receptive
I'm just
if
gonna
we're
keep
unarmed.
going with that theme.
Blade, no blade. It doesn't matter. The door to the basement creaks
Music's
open,
very
revealing a
interesting.
spiral staircase. Its steps almost as deep as you are tall. The smell of incense drifts up from below. For a moment, you almost feel at ease. Huh. This is actually kind of nice.
It's still a stone basement. If the princess lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor.
Her booming voice rolls up the stairs.
Is that a guest I hear? Don't linger on
Very
the
echoey.
stairs. Come down and witness me.
You weren't kidding when you said it was booming. She wasn't like this last time. You shouldn't have come down here unarmed. We need to get down there. She wants us to see her. We need to see her.
A
Should
little
we
weird.
be worried about your sudden change of attitude?
So I was
Just a few
thinking.
minutes ago, you were going on about how pointless everything was. Now you want to go down there. It doesn't matter what that little voice says. He's not the one making the decisions. Though if his ramblings get you to the princess, they get you to the princess.
Alright, here we go.
Making your way down the spiral staircase is a time-consuming and exhausting effort, every step requiring you to clamber over one edge before dropping to the next. But soon the end comes into view, and you tumble to the bottom, entering the vast, temple-like room beyond. The princess towers over you, almost glowing in the weak starlight,
Damn.
her figure framed by a stained glass window. Her long hair billows around her, and a chain binds her wrist to the far wall. The chain is nothing to her. It might as well be a toy for all the good it would do. I told you it was pointless to resist her.
Interesting.
The little bird
She's
has
floating and
returned to
everything.
me. I wonder what he wants. I see your hands are empty. You've already given up, haven't you? You aren't even going to try and kill me. How sweet.
Smash! You like the Dommy Mommy spoon?
And more than a little disappointing.
She's disappointed in us?
Kneel.
But the words don't leave your mouth. Instead, your legs
I
buckle
chose no.
and your knees hit the floor.
By the way, I need to say that when I actually click on it.
That's my good little bird. Now, why don't we talk? The last time we met, you tried to kill me. And yet here you are again. This time groveling at my feet. What a
Hello!
wretched sight.
Welcome, J.O. Jack. What did you miss? Well, I did just get started, but I played this game before this stream, so I don't know how much you know about this game. But if you do know it very well, I am on the last vessel before the completion. If you don't know this game, that won't make any sense, so sorry, but if you do know this game, that's what I'm on. So this is the second round of the last vessel. You know very little. Okay, cool. So yeah, this it's like a looping type of game almost, where every time you're in this scenario and you have to play through this scenario a bunch of times, but it changes over time, and the choices that you make change how this scenario changes, and changes how it looks, how the princess acts, how what options you have to choose from with dialogue, how much power you have, yada yada. And so I've been playing this game very like exploratively and passively, I guess would be a good summary for how I've played it. So I'm interested to see where this is gonna go with the questions, because I feel like especially, or at least towards like what I've been playing today and like the last kind of vessel that I played last time, I feel like I haven't quite gotten the conversation options that I personally would come up with to ask. So I keep on playing kind of the way that I would play with the questions that I want to ask and with the way that I want to interact. And so I'm curious if with me continuing to play like that, will I, at this point in the game, get some more of the options that I'm kind of wanting? Or will things go in a way where I just don't even get the option? So I guess we'll see.
What draws you back here beyond the empty halls of death? Speak.
The last time we met, nobody should have met her before this. You should be the first. You're the only one I trust to
You
deal
say
with
this
her.
every time, narrator.
Then you shouldn't have trusted us. There was nothing we could do to stop her then, and there's nothing we can do to stop her now.
Yeah, and things seem to be very much going in the way of, oh, I have, like, backed down and submitted to her, which wasn't really what I was trying to do or going for with my options. So I don't know if it mistook it that way or if this is, like, kind of a diversion or a misunderstanding, or if I don't know quite where this is going, and I don't know, because there's a difference between what the game thinks of my choices versus what the princess thinks of my choices too, and what the voices think of my choices. So I'm interested to see where this will go with that. If it is fully that the whole game thinks that I'm just submitting. Oh, Elgato. If the whole game thinks that I'm submitting, or if it's just the characters that think I'm submitting. But we'll see.
He's being melodramatic, but yeah, we've been here before, and she absolutely destroyed us. What are we even supposed to do to stop her?
That's worrying. Whatever you do, don't tell her why you're here. It's best not to give her any ideas.
Because with this game, it likes to kind of play with and on your morals. Like, you play the game according to your sort of morals or your code of honor or whatever you may have. It's kind of the idea. And then what happens as you continue going through this cycle and the changes that happen according to what kind of person you are in the situation, what morals you've kind of been enacting. And I feel like kind of morals and choices that I've been going for are maybe not something that they intended in the game, and therefore it's coming off as something that I wasn't doing. But again, we'll see. We'll see later on if they get what I was doing or not. Did she ask me while I was here? I guess so. Yeah, none of these is what I would actually say, so I think it might actually just be not really giving me the option to do what I would do in the situation, which is interesting because it has a lot of options. Like, they're narrowed down more now because I've gone off on a tangent, but it gives you a lot of options with this stuff. So it's interesting that it isn't quite leading in the way that I was trying to drive it. But that's not why I'm here, so I think I'm gonna choose to remain silent. Because it's not that I won't tell her. It's just that this isn't what I would tell her, so I'm gonna remain silent.
Do you think holding shut your beak is enough to stop me from prying it open? Do you think your skull can save your thoughts from being seen?
But also, from what I know in this game so far, because I've gone the very, like, inquisitive, explorative route, is that she cannot leave this room unless I guess, in a way, give her permission to. So she can kill me all she wants. She can drag my living or my dead body with her to try to get out. But unless I give her permission, she isn't able to leave, and she needs that from me. So I'm gonna I'm gonna see what I can do with that, because theoretically I should be able to get some options that align with what I actually want to say at some point, because she can't just kill me and leave. I don't know if she could really kill me at all with the second round, because in the first round she can kill you easily, and you just come back. But with the second round, that's not quite how it works, I don't think. It's a bit more complicated than that, at least. If she does kill you, it's more complicated. So, I don't know.
Can
We'll
she
see.
do that?
There's nothing she can't do.
Confused, meek, a chorus of submissive indecision. Is that why you came to me unarmed? It doesn't matter. All of it is easily brushed aside. And there it is. I am destined to end the world. Something about that thought wraps itself around my heart. It feels like a fundamental truth to my being that I'd somehow forgotten. The collapse of the old is a necessary prelude to the birth of the new, and the world as it is now is overdue for alterations. It's time for me to seize my destiny, and you, little bird, will help me seize it.
She's inevitable. There's nothing else for us to do but help.
Interesting.
Maybe she'll be nice to us.
I wonder why this version wants to end the world, because none of the other ones seem like they really have, and I wonder what this version will add to the collection of the versions of the vessels, if and when we get to that point. This is very interesting. What would you have me do? What do you have planned? Just because you're supposed to end the world doesn't mean that you actually have to do it. You can be whatever you want to be. I have questions for you before I decide to do anything. What happened to you after I died? I'm yours to command. Pledge yourself to her. So, these ones with the Explorer, that means that nothing happens necessarily here. You're just talking, whereas this one without the Explorer and the Pledge yourself to her removes the talking options and moves the actual thing forward, so at least from what I've learned. So I should theoretically be able to ask all of these if I want to. But this feels like my best first option, so we're gonna go with that.
This isn't about desire. This is about what I am. And I have little interest in discussing destiny with one that cannot see the divine truth that shines in my heart.
I guess maybe this one, because I think if I click this one, it might take me away from the other ones. And I want to do that one, but I want to know this first.
All you have to do is break these chains and set me free.
Hopefully that's not one that... Okay. I could ask this, but I already know the answer to that. I'm gonna do this one, and maybe I'll do this one if it lets me after this.
Know the limits of your privilege, little bird. There's an empty place at my side for you to fill, if you'll have it. But it is not a place for an equal. It is a place for something worthy to be kept. A priest, perhaps, or a pet.
So it won't even let me ask the other one now. Wait, no, it will. That's weird, though, because I feel like that's weird that this is the only option I have. I haven't behaved in a way that's like that, and from what I've learned from this game, I shouldn't have to do that. You know what I mean?
Don't be rude.
But
Of
let's
course
see.
she can.
Let's see if this gives me any other
It's
options.
not rude to question someone who's apparently trying to end the world.
That's exactly why it's rude. We should know our
I can, easily. But that isn't what I want to do. The story of a terrible and bountiful god unbounded of her own will is no story at all. It's not worthy of everything I am, or everything I'm bound to become. It isn't even worthy of what I was. The destruction in Genesis that's to follow in my wake is deserving of a song that can echo for eternity. The song of you, being so struck by my glory, so overwhelmed by what I am, that you feel you must deliver me into the world. And from your act of utter devotion and submission springs a new dawn, a better dawn. Submit
Oh,
now.
I didn't mean to do that.
Submit later. It makes no difference. Because in the end, no matter how vainly you struggle against me, my will triumphs over yours.
And that's all it'll give me. I guess we'll see what happens here necessarily. I think I need to adjust my camera a little bit. Yeah, we'll see what happens here, but if this really is it that I don't get any option to say no and there's not like a really good reason as to why that is, then I'm not gonna like that too much, because it's contradicting what I've learned so far, and it's also like I haven't behaved in this sort of submitting way, and I'm calling bullshit on all of this. So I don't know. We're gonna see what this happens, but so far I'm not feeling like this is really lining up with everything that I've done and everything that I've learned so far in this game. It's a lot of contradictions in not the greatest ways. So because in pledging yourself to her, like, that I'm guessing means that you know, give her permission to leave, and that's what she needs from you, is the permission. So to have it force me to give permission, that doesn't make sense, and it kind of contradicts the point of this game, which is to be able to kind of shape your own destiny. So let's see what
Your will
happens.
was so easily broken. Am I that magnificent? All you need to do now is break my chains.
If this is what you want, then I guess there's not much else for me to say. No, you can't just give in to her. Not when the stakes are so
I thought
high.
Destiny was
Not
banned
when
on
you're
this
so
channel.
close. I won't let you do this.
Not that Destiny, Makuta.
There's still something in the way. A greasy film inside of you where it doesn't belong. Trying to
Love the dress,
conceal
though.
you from me.
I want it.
Is that a person? No, it used to be a person. It's something different now. An echo.
Is she talking about you? That's impossible. She's not supposed to be able to interact with me.
You're a small one, aren't you? A shriveling little worm stretched beyond its limits, trying to control things that it can't understand.
No. What are you talking about?
That's very
I'm just-
interesting.
I don't care what you are. You're mine.
That was a
Rise,
scream.
my little bird.
Without hesitation, you're brought to your feet.
Oh.
Break my chains.
And how are we supposed to do that? We don't even have a weapon. All you need to do is believe it's been done.
Again, it's looking like it's not going to give me any other option. I don't understand that, and I don't like that. Oh god, she's aware of the narrator. I know, right? That is really wacky. I didn't see that coming. This is a very interesting route to go down, but it contradicts what I've already learned, and it doesn't make sense with the route that I've gone. So, I don't know how much I like it for what I've chosen. I think she just overcame everything you could do. I get that, but, like, I don't get why she was able to. And why it, like, went that way. Because, you know, it obviously goes very different ways in this. And I don't know why what I've chosen has led to this. Because I haven't just, like, given in. Because I think this would make sense if I just, like, fully gave in to everything she wanted all the time. And, like, bowed down and worshipped in a way. But I haven't done that. Or at least that has not been my intention. Obviously, I can't choose exactly what I want to do in this game. It has a limited amount of options, and the way that the game perceives those options is maybe different than the way that I would perceive those options and the motivation behind them. So it could be just a misinterpretation of what I thought the options meant versus what the game thought the options meant, and a lack of options for the route that I wanted to go, if that makes sense. But yeah, because the way that I've been playing this game is very much like trying to be kind of separate and objective about it, and trying to gather information and, I guess, mediate and level the playing field, if that makes sense. Like, I guess kind of to hold my own will has been the most important thing. Like, I've tried not to let myself be swayed by assumptions that people make, or by pressure that either the narrator, because a lot of this has been like kind of a battle between the narrator and the princess, and what the princess wants and what the narrator wants. And then I've been in the middle trying to gather information about what's actually going on here. What are the facts? What's the reality of the world that we're in? And trying to kind of protect my autonomy within all of that, trying not to do what one side or the other side tells me to do just because they tell me to do it, trying not to really fully trust any one side or the other, just trying to gather information and trying to separate myself from the conflict, and trying not to get involved any more than I have to. Try not to be violent unless I have a really good cause for it that is other than self-preservation, if that makes sense. And that's been the way I've kind of been going about this. So to get this climax very much contradicts that, because my whole thing, I've been choosing to separate myself and to have my own autonomy and to not listen to the gossip and the assumptions and the demands of the people around me, and to do what I think is the most equalizing and logical based on the information that I'm capable of gathering. And this is very much the kind of ending I think you would get if you just bowed down to the princess the whole time. So I'm thinking that it maybe doesn't really have any plans for people that want to play it with the kind of mindset that I have. I think it's assuming that by the choices I've clicked, I've tried to be submissive, wherein the actual intent and assumptions I had about the choices that I had and that I made was that I was being objective and separate. So I think that's where it's going with this, which is unfortunate, because I was really interested to seeing how the game would respond to a attempt to play through it the way that I have, and it seems like it doesn't really have that in mind. But it could be that at some point in this it, you know, switches it around and does actually take into account what I've been doing, but we'll see. What if I don't believe what happens then?
You poor, wretched little thing. You already do believe. You've always believed. All you have to do is open the last door to your heart.
I guess a way that this could make sense with, you know, my perspective and the way that I've been going about it is if the princess and the form that they are does actually want to end the world, and their purpose is to end the world, and they've been lying this whole time. But from what I watched with Markiplier and from what I've learned throughout this game, it seems like that's not what it's trying to say. Like, that's not what it's supposed to be. Um, it's kind of supposed to be go the way that you guide it, and it's not supposed to be that she does want to destroy the world and she's this big evil manipulative thing in that way. So unless that is the case, that is her ultimate goal, and that is what she is regardless of what you do, then it doesn't make sense.
It's easy. And once you let her in, you'll be safe and free forever.
Please, don't do this.
It's like it's not going to give me a choice.
Her chains shatter, and the cuff falls from her wrist. She is loose, and the end is upon us.
What a good disciple you are. Come, it's time for us to leave. Nothing, and then everything.
Well, there we go.
She's gone. Where does she go? Should we try and find her?
Another thing with this game is that, like, the way that you go about these situations, you're, like, shaping and molding this vessel for the, you know, conjoined versions of her. And so the decisions you made are supposed to influence how this particular vessel is formed, and therefore, you know, what new knowledge and information and feelings and desires the ultimate version of her has. And it felt like it really stripped a lot of autonomy from me with that, you know? So,
Oh, there's that
let's just
mirror again.
go ahead.
Why is it here? Why now?
We're just gonna approach the mirror. We've said those things before, so.
This doesn't feel right. It feels different. Final.
That's because you're gonna disappear
I
after
don't want
this.
to look at us.
Gaze into your reflection. Let's see what it says for me this time. You are nothing at all. I'm a bird. Oh,
I
it's the
think you
narrator,
know
right?
What I am.
I need to save before I do more of this. Oh, really? Okay. I thought it was gonna not let me talk to it at all anymore. Huh. What are you? Are you something like me? If you're not me, then what are you? I have so many questions for you. Does it hurt when pieces of you break off like that? I'm sorry, I don't want to destroy you. Will it help if I look away or stop asking questions? Every time I ask you something, it's like a piece of you breaks. Are you a part of me, or are you something else? You're the one who wanted me to slay the princess. Why? I've met you many times. If you've been the same all along, I wasn't supposed to see all this, was I? What is this place? Where are we? Destroy the mirror. Alright, I do have limited things to choose with this, and from what I've played so far, I've already actually gotten a lot of information out of the narrator. I've gotten him to have to admit to a lot of things. So I already know more or less the answer to a lot of these questions. So I think this is what I'm gonna choose.
Because among other things,
Why
she's
did you want me to
death
slay the
itself.
princess?
To rid the world of suffering, to save untold trillions from being lost forever to the cosmic wind, she must be destroyed. And despite how far you've fallen, you will still have a chance to fulfill your purpose once I'm gone.
So this is the new one. I want to do this one. I was made to do this single task. Who made me? What am I?
You're the long quiet, the god I made to rid the world of death.
So the narrator made me, but I have more memory than the narrator. He says you're the long quiet. That to me sounds like and the god I made to rid the world of death. But the way he says I'm the long quiet, that makes me think that I am like the remover of all life. You know? Like life can't continue to grow. You know? Makes sense if he's a raven. Yeah? Why is that? What do ravens have to do with this? Like the Grim Reaper? That would make sense. But yeah, the way that it sounds like this, it sounds like everyone's just gonna die. And then that's gonna be it. No one's gonna die because no one's gonna be born, if that makes sense. No one's gonna be. Ravens are associated with death. That does make sense then. But yeah, especially, it says the long quiet. I feel like if I just stopped death from happening and the people that were already alive continued living, I don't know that it would make sense to call that the long quiet. It would be long, but I don't know why it would be quiet. When he says the long quiet, that makes me think that nothing will live or die. Spoiler, it's the witness all along. Oh my god. That is very interesting, though. And the god I made. So the narrator made me, yet I have more memory than the narrator. So that is very interesting. And the narrator is many people as well. Like, there's many different duplicates, copies almost, of the narrator. So that, I don't know quite how that works. That's interesting. God, I always knew I was special. I don't want to be a god, I want to be me. I feel like that's a waste of a question, because I have limited time here. If you're not me, then what are you?
I'm an echo, likely one of many. Somebody made you after all, and I'm what's left of him. Not that I'm the only one who can make that claim. I'm sure you've met many others like me.
Okay. So he's an echo of the person that made me. So he's not, like, a singular person. Someone made me, and the narrators are echoes of that person. He says I'm what's left of him, which means that whoever made me and echoed the narrators is potentially gone. That is also interesting. Others like you. You've said something like that before. Has every narrator really been different? I'm assuming yes, so I'll wait on that one. So many questions. Does it hurt when pieces like that break off like that? I'm sorry, I don't want to destroy you. Hopefully I look away stupid questions. Every time I ask you something, it's like a piece of you breaks. Are you a part of me or something else? I already know that answer. You said she contains death. What is she? I've met you many times. We've been the same all along. Are you a god, or were you a god? I wasn't supposed to see all this, was I? What is a princess? Did you make her too? Ooh, what is this place? Where are we? Why would you want to rid the world of death? So many options. I'm gonna be so limited. I'm gonna have to go through this part a million times at some point. Pretty sure death is good, actually. It's important even. Cares about dying. I've died plenty of times. LOL. Don't you laugh at me, Makuta. Alright. I'm just gonna have to choose one, so I want to know this one the most, I think. What is she?
She is the shifting mound, the ebb and flow, the capacity to change. She is transformation, or most of it. Her nature is why I had to die, for she becomes that which others perceive her to be. But an echo can't perceive things, not in the way that people can.
Huh. She's shifting man, the ebb and flow, the capacity to change. She is transformation, or most of it. Her nature is why I had to die. For she becomes that which others perceive her to be. That would make sense, because the whole idea with this is that each time you play through it, the way that you interact with her fundamentally changes who she is. But she has no, like, core to her. She is completely molded by you in these situations. So I guess in her full form, she's completely molded by humanity as a whole, people and consciousness that perceives her. She is whatever they believe her to be, and she changes existence based on what people believe her to be. That's what I'm getting from this. But an echo can't perceive things, not in the way that people can. Which I guess means that the narrator and the god that you know, dispersed into all the narrators doesn't have any control over what she becomes, because he can't perceive. Because he can't perceive her, he can't affect who she becomes. And that's, you know, at least one reason why he wants to destroy her, is so that she can't kill him, she can't take over his domain. Whether, you know, what he wants for his domain is a good thing or a bad thing for people, causes harm, or positive things, is somewhat irrelevant when it comes to this conversation, in my opinion. So I wonder, does the narrator only want to stop her because she is a threat to the narrator's life and domain? Or does the narrator actually fundamentally care about people in the world, regardless of whether he's in it and he controls it? Is another question I would have, I suppose. If you made us, then I want you to know that this has been torture. If I destroy her, won't I be alone? If you want me to destroy the concept of transformation, how is that existence any better than death? Or even different from death at all? Honestly, it feels worse. It's true. Do you have anything to say for yourself for all this hubris? After everything you've done to us, do you think anyone deserves to live? Do you know that things won't just be worse if I destroy her? Do you know that things won't just be worse if I destroy her? What would it be like to live in a world without her? Does anyone else know about this? Does anyone else know about us? I don't want to be it. These are all such good questions. I don't know how I'm going to choose. I don't want to be a god. I want to be me. There's another one I wanted to ask down here. Just save? I guess this is probably a good spot to save. I don't want to make too many saves because I'll get all mixed up. But I think this is probably a good one because I've opened up a lot of options that I want to get back to, so I will save this one. That's interesting. If she's capable of becoming whatever people believe her to be, can't I just will her into something small? Why couldn't you have told me this from the start? I would have helped you destroy her. It's a good one. I've met you many times. Have you? Blah, blah, blah. Why did you make her a princess? Okay, so we did make her. Because that was another question down here, is did you make her? And I wanted to ask that. Of all things, why is she a princess? Why couldn't she be an ant or a slice of soggy bread? Am I supposed to destroy an abstract concept? What if either of us leave this place? Does that work? Can we just stay here together and leave the people out there alone? Oh my god, there's so many good questions! What is this place? Where are we? Why would you want to go for the road of death? Pretty sure that's important. Who cares about dying? So I can't ask. So I can't ask anymore if he did make her. I guess I'm supposed to assume that he did. How did you die? I missed that one. I guess I'll ask this one then, because I want to know more about that. Because he obviously wants to destroy her, but he created her, is what I'm getting from the change in these options. I don't necessarily care why he made her a princess over other things, but I do want to know more about why he created her and why he wants to destroy her. I don't know if that'll... Let's look at the other ones, because I feel like he's just going to answer that question specifically. He's not going to give me more context, and I don't necessarily care why she's a princess. At least not as much as some of these other questions. Let's go back to the top. If you made us, then I want to know. No, I won't be alone. I'm trying to choose whatever option is going to get me the most information about why he created us and why he wants to destroy her now. I guess maybe this one?
I do. The people out there are real. No matter what you do to them, no matter what you enable, I want you to remember that.
No matter what you do to them, no matter what you enable, I want you to remember that.
Of course there won't be worse.
Do you know if they'll be worse?
I saw a glimpse of a better world, and I did what I could to make it real. Anything is better than oblivion. In the end, nobody wants to leave.
I mean, that's just not true. Do you... Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Do you believe that that's true? Because that's just simply not true. Do you believe that it's true and you're deluded, or are you lying? And if you're lying, why would you lie? I guess I'll ask this one.
When I broke the cycle, I made sure that the tear was rough. You carry a part of what should be her, and she carries a part of what should be you. Things won't be as they are now, but they won't be nothing either.
They won't be nothing either. That's very vague. You're delusional. I mean, yeah, it sounds a bit like it. I guess this one, what would it be like to live in a world without her? Because it's kind of a point I've been trying to get at, and he seems to not quite be answering that with the other questions, so...
Light, burdenless, an eternal pattern of forgetfulness leading into the joys of rediscovery. Everyone will be with the ones they love. No more fear, no more howling chaos. Just life, forever.
Huh. An eternal pattern of forgetfulness leading into the joys of rediscovery. So is he trying to say that people won't die, obviously, but they also won't just continue on at the same level of consciousness or memory? They'll forget things, kind of like how your character forgets stuff every time they start this, new vessel over, and they go through it again. So I guess basically it sounds like what it's going to be is basically what I've been going through. Not with the, goal of slaying a princess. It would just be people go through their life, and then instead of dying, they just forget everything. Oh, hello, Volk. I don't know how to say your name. Hello. Just read your comment. Yeah. I will get to that later, I guess. But, oh, there goes Elgato. So, yeah, that's what it sounds like. But I guess, I'm asking, crazy questions for this, but my next question would be, does everybody forget at the same point in time? And then when they come back, do they not remember each other at all? Or do people forget at different points in time? So, you forget everything on your birthday, for example. Everyone else still remembers you from before, and they'll remember you after. They'll remember you going through that transformation of forgetting and learning new things. Is it like that, or is it everyone forgets at the same time, and then everybody kind of wakes up in a way to the world at the same time and learns everything again at the same time? It is very interesting, though, because that pretty much is death. When you forget everything about yourself, about your history, about the people around you, that essentially is death. It's not the death of the body, but it's the death of the mind, in a way. It's the death of the individual that you've been made into. Is the same about reincarnation? It could be. It sounds like it could be. But also in a way not, because it sounds like what he's saying is when people, if I don't destroy her and if she does become, we join and whatever and she becomes a god, then people would die and they would go into oblivion, and that's not reincarnation. So it sounds like, but then what he's saying, what would happen if I did kill her, is that she, people still wouldn't be reincarnated necessarily, because their body wouldn't die. Their mind and their soul, if you want to call it that, would die, but their body wouldn't, and they would be reincarnated into the same body. So it doesn't really line up with reincarnation either way, but it is still within the playing field of it, I think. It's a very different take on it in a way, but yeah, what I'm getting from this is it sounds like people would basically be dying if I destroyed her, but they would their body wouldn't die, their mind would die, their memories and their identity and their soul, in a way. Not that they're saying that souls exist, not that I believe that souls exist, but essentially what people envision as a soul would die, and they would be reborn, but in the same body and in the same moment, in a way. But that doesn't make sense, because he's saying it's light and burdenless. He's making this assumption that or this, declaration, whatever you want to call it, that it would be painless, that none of this would cause any sort of pain or discomfort. But especially if it goes the way where, people forget everything and restart at different times, you have to watch the person that you love forget everything about you and forget everything about themselves, and basically reintroduce this brand new person to everything. But at the same time, and that would be depressing and tragic and painful, especially if you have to do it over and over and over again. back and forth. But at the same time, it's also like if everyone forgets at the same point and then restarts at the same point in time, then everyone's just lost and confused at the beginning, and they don't have any of those ties together, and it's basically just the same thing as death, just without the, reproduction part. It's death and the continuance of life, just without reproduction. You just die and reincarnate all within the same body. But it's still an end in a cycle. It's just within the same body instead of within, generational reproduction of bodies. So, either he's lying to himself, or he's lying to me, or there's something very different about this whole reality in some sort of way, which wouldn't make logical sense. Very interesting, though. I really have to pee, though, so I'm gonna pee, and then I'm gonna do more of this. Just give me 1 second, guys. Okay, and we're back. Oh, look at all the bees. They're so cute. I like the little bumbles and the little sweaters. I don't know why my brain just thought of this. I mean, I guess it makes sense. Oh my god, Makuta! That's a crazy amount of bees! But those oh my god! Makuta! It's a whole, colony, multiple colonies of bees on my screen right now. But that, tiny crocheting people will do with embroidery thread? I just had the idea that I want to crochet a tiny bee, and then crochet that tiny bee a tiny sweater. And have a tiny little bee with a tiny little sweater. That would be so cute, a little bumble. I can make multiple of them and, hang them from the ceiling, even. Or, attach them to the fan and have the fan slowly go around and have them fly around like the potato meme. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know why my brain is going on that crazy tangent right now, but it is. That would be hilarious. Oh, I want to write that down. I could make so many cute little crochet creatures and make little cute outfits for them and make them into keychains and give them to people as gifts. I've been wanting to get more ideas for gifts that I could give to people. So I'm gonna add that to my Trello board. Tiny crochet, or I could also do felt. Make them out of felt. with tiny sweaters. I love tiny sweaters. It's so adorable. Okay, I wrote it down. We're good. I have to do this shit because I will forget. I'll even forget to look at my, like, because you can say, oh, well, I have my stream VOD to look back at. I will forget that I said anything at all worth looking back on. So I have to write it down. Anyway, back to this chaos. I am spiraling so much on so many things right now. But I mean, hey, if I'm gonna spiral, this game is the perfect conductor for, like, a really fun spiral that doesn't end in me becoming paranoid about my actual life, so I'd say it works out. Anyway, love, be with the ones I love, no fear, no more howling chaos, just life forever.
There's a cruel irony to it all. The only way I could share my dream with the world was to never be able to see it for myself.
Okay, so I guess that does kind of answer my question of, is he just doing this because he wants to keep his dominance and control, or is he doing it because he actually cares? It seems like he does actually care about this happening, whether he is in control of it or not, but that doesn't necessarily make it selfless. He could still want to do it just so that, you know, because he wants to have dominance even if he's not there to see it. Or he wants to have control. But also, like, does he believe what he's saying? Because what he's saying, as far as I know from this game and from the world and from reality and life and all of that, what he's saying is just not true. So does he know it's not true, believe it's not true, and he's saying it anyway? Or does he truly believe that all of this is true? And if he does believe it's true, why? What led him to believe that this was the truth? Especially as someone who is a god that made me and the princess. Like, why would he believe that? After everything you've done, Anyone else know about us? I do want to know this one, but I'm gonna read all of them first, because there's other ones too. God always do it. Don't want to destroy you. Every time I see these breaks, are you a part of me? Why couldn't you have told me all this? That's a good one too. If she's capable of becoming whatever you believe her to be, I can just. That's a good one. Met you many times. Are you a god? Were you a god? I'm assuming so, because if I'm a god and he made me, then he had to be a god. I will ask this one eventually, but probably not in this round. How did you die? That's a good one too. Why did you make her a princess? Destroy an abstract concept. That's a good question. How did you die?
I killed myself.
You killed yourself?
It had to be done, really. None of this would have worked if I was still alive. Nobody living could know about her.
Huh. I did not expect that. I killed myself, it had to be done, really. None of this would have worked if I were still alive. Nobody living could know about her. How would none of this have worked if he was still alive? Nobody living could know about her. Meaning nobody living could know about her if you didn't kill yourself? Or you killed yourself so that you could prevent the living people from knowing about her? I guess there's nothing more than just that. I guess this is probably the next one I want to ask.
Of course not. The only way this construct could function
Okay,
was
so
if
that answers
nobody
my
knew
other
what
question
it was
then.
doing. But the bones of the universe are old. It's on the cusp of its dying breath, and the people out there are consumed with thoughts of oblivion.
People out there with consumed with thoughts of oblivion. The only way this construct could function was if nobody knew what it was doing. This construct, does he mean like the cycle that me and the princess are going through? The only way it could function is if nobody knew what it was doing. But the bones of the universe are old. It's on the cusp of its dying breath. And the people out there are consumed with thoughts of oblivion. Like they want oblivion, or they're afraid of oblivion. Also, if they're consumed with those thoughts, then I feel like that would make it so that they would maybe believe the princess to be oblivion, or to be the bringer of oblivion. Which, if that is the case, and she becomes what people believe her to be, then oblivion would happen anyway. Unless they're afraid of oblivion, and depending on how she goes to them, they may believe that she's their savior from oblivion, in which case it would go the other direction. But he's not saying how they are consumed with thoughts. What emotions are tied to those thoughts? What thoughts exactly are they having?
When the patterns are wiped from the sand, when the board is reset, who will remember them? All I've done is give them a chance to live outside of the shadow of the end.
Well, the patterns are wiped from the sand. When the board is reset, who will remember them? All I've done is give them a chance to live outside of the shadow of the end. In saying that, is he saying that all of humanity would die, or even that all of life would die? Or is he just saying that individuals would continue to die, or, be born, give birth, and then die? Is he saying that pattern would continue and people would just die in that same sense, or is he saying that all people would die? Because he's also saying who will remember them. If they were just continuing the cycle of life and death that we know of in real life, then people will remember each other. I mean, I guess everyone gets lost to time. Everyone's memory gets lost to time, and he could be referencing that fact. But again, it's so vague. It's hard to understand what exactly he's saying. Giving them a chance to live outside the shadow of the end. But, I mean, he's saying that if I kill her and death ends, people will still forget. People will live in a cycle of forgetting and relearning. Which, in that case, that contradicts this. Because he says, who will remember them? Well, they won't even remember themselves. So that's a contradiction. And he says, when the patterns are wiped from the sand. Which makes me think that all of humanity would end, because the cycle of life and death is a pattern. Also, I'm curious, what happens if I die and she lives? Because all this is about, like, either I kill her and death ends and life continues forever, or I join her, or I am, controlled by her. And then the cycle of death continues. And potentially what he's saying here is that all life dies. It's kind of vague about what happens if everyone dies fully, or whatever. But I'm not hearing anyone talk about what happens if I die and she continues to live. Is it maybe that while we're both alive, the cycles of life and death continue as they have, but then if I die, then everyone dies and that's the end, and no one's reborn? Or maybe, and then, if she dies, then no one will die, but also no one is reborn or changing. But that's not true, because he said she is changed, but then if she dies, he said that everyone lives forever, but that they forget. They live forever in a cycle of forgetting and re-experiencing things. So that's there's a lot of contradictions here. And again, it's also vague. It, you know, makes sense that there would be contradictions. But even still, with the vagueness, I don't know. I don't know. Looks like this is going to be my last question. This is what I'm thinking right now, but I don't know if that's what I would say. I don't think that's really relevant to him. I think this one, just, I want to get him to say whatever last things he thinks of. I don't want to necessarily prompt him to say one thing or another.
So I am. It's like I said, I'm just an echo. And echoes always fade away. You know what you have to do.
Alright. I am definitely going to go back and ask more of those questions later, but I'm going to finish this all first, and then I'll go back to certain points and find out new things. The narrator was right. You are the long, quiet, vast, and nascent god, and it's finally time for you to wake up. All of this is you. I don't know what that word means. Nascent? But again, the long quiet. The quiet part doesn't make sense if I prevent death from happening at all. Endless life isn't quiet. When you arrive at the heart of things, there is no final vessel for you to bear witness to. There is nothing for you to find.
I can finally see you, and you can finally see me.
Damn.
It's been so long, and my heart has ached for this moment. I've missed you dearly.
That's a good one. Did you know about the echo? Did you hear our conversation? I'm the long quiet, but I don't really know what that means. Also a good one. What happens now? And then of course I've missed you too. I guess this one first.
Every word you spoke found its way to me. I know him. He was deluded by his fear of death. Pay him no mind.
So I wonder if the things that I asked have an effect on how she's going to react and mold herself. Or if I could have asked any of those explore questions and had the same result. Maybe it's only the last thing that you say to him. Either like, I'm gonna kill her, or lying, saying I'm gonna kill her, or saying I'm not gonna kill her. I want you to know that. Maybe that's the only thing that affects it, or maybe nothing does. I don't know, but I'm curious. I'm the long quiet, but I don't really... Oh, so I can't even say I miss you now. Oh, I thought I was gonna be able to say all of the things. Hold on, I should have saved earlier. I'm gonna save now, at least.
Names are their attempts to capture that which cannot be captured. They call me the Shifting Mound, a pale imitation of what I actually am.
Okay. What happens
Ever the
now?
passive player, always reacting and never acting. But it's woven into your nature, isn't it? When the Echo spun us from one into two, he gave you a choice and me a role to play. I am not death, but I contain it in my multitudes.
The Echo spun us from one into two. I figured that, but... He gave you a choice and me a role to play. I'm not death, but I contain it in my multitudes.
So, will you attempt to destroy me and bring about a world devoid of death and the possibility of meaning? Or will you open the final doors to our liberation?
She's viewing this very differently from the narrator, obviously. They want different outcomes and everything, but... I mean, both of them seem to believe things that I have not learned to be true. Because I don't think that death creates meaning. But I also don't think that... that forgetting and then... forgetting everything about who you are and then being reborn in that way is anything necessarily better or different from dying. So many stories we've left unfinished. Can we really just leave? Don't you have a say in all of this? Why is it all falling on me? Let's talk this through. I still have so many questions and I need answers before I can make a choice. If I let you out, an entire world ends for good. I can't do that. Does it though? And how exactly does that happen? I don't know if I heard this from my game or Markiplier's game, but I think another idea that I heard thrown around of what happens with all of this is that, like, she creates life in a world, life and death, and cycle and whatever, and then she leaves and that world dies and she goes to a new one, and a new world creates life and death in that cycle. So it could be that that's what they're referencing here. If you're always going to become this, then what was the point of me doing anything? Did it even matter what roads I walked if all of them would have led to this moment? That's a really good one. There has to be another way. This can't just come down to me either destroying you or letting you out. I won't do it. I told you what was going to happen when we reach this point. Slay the princess. Slay the princess. I think it's time for us to leave this place, but I don't want to know how... I don't know how to leave or where to go. Okay. I want to know this. If you were always going to become this, then what was the point of me doing anything? Did it matter what roads I walked? Or would they have all led to the same moment?
If you're saying that, it's because you don't yet understand. But we cannot use words alone to grasp at things that words cannot express. And you cannot rationalize with logic that which defies it.
We cannot use words alone to grasp at things that words cannot express. And you cannot rationalize with logic that which defies it. So basically she's not answering.
Violence and passion are dances that both of us know well. If this is what it takes to enlighten you, then so be it.
I mean, I didn't say anything about that, but okay.
You are nothing. A black hole of self-loathing fed by the matter of your restless thoughts. A dog blind to its leash. But there is no light without the dark.
Is that supposed to be me? But look at the fingers here. I don't have... Or am I supposed to be looking from the view of the princess? I think I'm supposed to be looking at the view... Because look, there's the princess hair and there's a human hand. And a bird-like creature. I think this is what she sees when she looks at me. Black hole of self-loathing, fed by the matter of your restless thoughts. A dog blind to its leash, but there is no light without dark. Okay.
When I proclaimed my godhood and offered you a place at my side, you gladly became the instrument of my new creation.
I did not.
Only with both of us is there a future to look towards. It is hope that carves meaning into being.
Only with both of us is there a future to look towards. It is hope that carves the meaning into being. And with both of us, and it seems like she wants both of us to come out too. She doesn't want to kill me. But also there's been no talk about what would happen if she lived and I died. So that's also a kind of a question. Am I unable to die? Is she unable to die? It seems like not. The narrator doesn't think that that's possible. She seems to believe that she could die, but no one's talked about whether I could die or not. And she seems like she at least needs me to be there with her, if she not, wants me to be there with her, so... I guess with both of us, the future would be continuing life and death? Or, I don't know. I don't know. What exactly does this do? I do like addressing things directly, so that might be the right one, but appeal to your shared humanity. You speak about life and death and change stagnation. That isn't what any of this has been about. You've done nothing but lecture me since the minute I got here. Reject her authority. Argue under your dependence. You act as though the world can't exist without you, but I've existed without you. Reject your perspective. I won't engage with violence. Is she saying? She didn't say anything about violence, about engaging in violence. Because it's true that, I won't engage with violence. But that's not what she said, so I don't understand why this is an option. But it looks like all of these are final decisions, one or the other, whereas this gives me more options to talk about. So we're gonna try this one. I miss when that was you. When what was you? See, this is so confusing and, backwards to what I was trying to do, because I didn't submit, or at least that's not what I thought I was doing. You're consumed by your own ego. And again, I don't really know that. I don't know how much of her is the version of her that I just met. Also, the versions of her that I meet in there, the vessels, their only objective is to get out, and they do and act and behave in whatever way they think is going to get them out. But then this version of her is supposed to be more than that, and supposed to have other intentions and desires and all of that. So, and I don't know. I haven't asked her about this version of herself. I ask her every time, what do you intend to do now? Now that you have this new vessel, what do you want? What changes do you have? And she says, I can't know what I will become unless I have the last vessel. Now, she has the last vessel, but I haven't been able to ask her that question of what she is now. I think I'll just ask this one. I don't know what that is referencing, but neither of these seem quite right. I don't know enough information.
My threads, like yours, are unbroken. She is me as much as I was her.
Who are we talking about?
You are the villain. Pray for something bigger than you that stalks and slinks in shadows. Within, you are tightly bound and choke on heavy air as acid burns its way into your pores. A nest of things devouring within things devouring. But even when dissolved, you gifted me a life. Perhaps it was fear that drove you. Perhaps it was compassion.
Interesting. So, I don't remember. In that situation, did I... And this was before I was streaming it. This was yesterday. So, we wouldn't have it here. But I don't remember if I had the option to not allow her out in that situation. I'll have to go back to that save and find out. I don't quite remember what reasoning I had for choosing the option to let her out. I think I was just curious as to what would happen.
But the outcome of an act matters more than its intentions. There is a natural order to the cycle of things sustaining things.
She said maybe it was fear, maybe it was compassion. Neither of those is really why I did it. I mean, it was a curiosity more than anything. So, I don't know.
A world without sustenance is a world without relationships. And it is our relationships that give us form and substance.
You're right, without desire, we have no need for relationships. We would all be alone. I don't know about that. Without desire, we had no relationships, we would all be alone, but if we had no desires, would being alone be so bad? That's true. You cannot use eating me to prove that you're right. That's true. My intentions do matter, I only freed you to save myself. I'm thinking either this one would be being alone be so bad in that situation, or this one, you cannot use eating me to prove you're right. I think I'm gonna go with this one. You cannot use eating me to prove you're right.
You still cling to the horror of dying bodies that rot worlds apart from us. How many more vessels would you need to lose before you realize their irrelevance?
I don't know if I understand that response. I guess realize the irrelevance of the past versions of us that have gone through the whole cabin situation. That's not why I chose that question, though, or that answer.
A trick behind your back and a trick behind mine. We dance, revolving and revolving around each other, but forever stuck in place. We both move, and yet we both don't. For each of us watches the other instead of ourselves.
Which version of her is this? When she attacked and we fell down and we both broke our backs? I think so, yeah. We danced revolving and revolving around each other. Because in this version that she's referencing here, I tried to leave with her and she told me to go first and I let her. and I went first. She thought I was tricking her, but I wasn't. So she attacked me, and we both fell down, and we both broke ourselves and couldn't get up. We danced revolving and revolving around each other, but forever stuck in place. We both move, and yet we both don't, for each of us watches the other instead of ourselves. I don't know about that. It's a very one-sided perspective.
But forever is not forever.
A lot of assumptions.
I move and you react, and both of us break the other. But broken is only a moment in time. To change is to hold the potential to rise above. Would you limit yourself to what you are now? Or would you like to see what you might become tomorrow?
I mean, I agree with that, but that's kind of besides the point. If there are no endings, there are no limits. If there are no limits, then there is no difference between growth and decay. That's not necessarily true, though. And also, there are, from what the narrator said, there are still endings in a way if she dies. If I kill her, because there's an ending of memory. It's not an ending of life, but there is an ending of memory. That's still an ending, and it's still a limit. But even if people didn't forget things and that wasn't true, and people remembered and lived forever, there still are limits. So that's an untrue statement. I've already come so far, what more is there left for me to see? I mean, I don't get that one either. There's plenty left to see. It's time we could have been better. I'm not quite sure what these are addressing. Is she talking about, like, limit yourself to what you are now? Is she saying, like, that's equivalent to me killing her and living on without her? And this is her trying to deter me from killing her and trying to encourage me to go with her? I guess maybe this one. I don't quite know how this is addressing or what this is saying in relation to what she is saying here. I'm a little bit confused as to how this conversation is going, but neither of these ones make any sense.
And there is always time.
And I do believe that too. If we had more time, we could be better.
Your lover drives a stake into your body, and another, and another, and another. Do I miss your heart because I can't stand to see it go? Love melted into skepticism, and you pulled back layer after layer after layer, until all you were left with was the knowledge that you did not know me.
That is true. I mean, there wasn't any love there necessarily. It was always skepticism, but with that one, it was very interesting because she was acting all lovey-dovey and I could get her out of the chain without having to cut into her. But then when she was out, instead of just walking out with her, I questioned her and I tried to figure out who she was and what she wanted. And she devolved the more I asked and never gave me an answer. I did pull back layer after layer. And yeah, left with the knowledge, not just that I didn't know her, but that maybe there was nothing there to know, in a sense, other than the desire to get free. That's what I got from it, at least.
You sought the truth, then. Will you hide from it, now that it is within your grasp?
Is it, though? have no desire to hide, but the truth can be made better. If destroying you is what it takes, then so be it. I have no desire to hide from the truth. Yes, but the truth can be made better. Yes. If destroying you is what it takes, then so be it. I don't know why you would put that at the end of the statement. There's a lot of options here. Why is that one the one that you're focusing on? I guess because that's what she's talking about here. She's trying to convince you not to kill her. I'm gonna save here, because I don't quite know what this is gonna do. So I'm gonna choose this
I
one.
am so deeply woven into the threads of this reality that I cannot imagine it without me. Perhaps there is a better world to build.
Oh, that scared me. There's fireworks going off. It scares me every time, and I know it's nearly the 4th of July and people are gonna set off fireworks, but I think it's a gunshot every single time. I don't know if my brain's ever gonna think that those loud sounds aren't gunshots after everything. I hope so. I did eventually get over the earthquake thing. The bed can shake a little bit now, and I don't automatically think it's an earthquake. So that PTSD is recovered, but I don't know, it's been a long time since I've been away from the gunshots, and it still scares me every time, so I don't know if that one's ever gonna change, but that's a separate thing from this. She does seem quite open-minded here. More open-minded than I expected her to be.
But you cannot know until you see it. Are you so sure in your blind optimism that you would shatter all of creation?
Are you all of creation, though? Earthquakes are much easier to... Oh my god, this scares the shit out of me every time. Earthquakes are much easier to identify. That is true. That is true. For a while, though, after the earthquakes, every time that you, like, shifted in bed and it, like, you know, shook the bed a little bit, I would freak out and wake up, but... I mean, that is easier to identify overall. It's maybe a little bit less jarring, too. I don't know, though. Why am I freaking out every time? It's happened 3 times, and I keep, like, having my heart skip a beat every time. I don't know why my brain is not assimilating to this now. At least for, you know, the next few hours. I would think it would get the idea, but guess not. As to this, I mean, I don't know what would happen either way, and either way I'd be closing the door to one truth or another, whether I kill her or not. I'd close the doorway to some kind of knowledge, so... And I don't know... I've never heard of her being all of creation.
To question everything is to deny the truth in front of you. By believing in your suffering, you make your suffering real. By believing in your limitations, you placed a shackle on your neck.
Not necessarily.
Bound for eternity, you saw the need for impermanence, and it was through that need that you carved our freedom.
So this is talking about the time when she had, like, the shackle on her neck and her wrists, and I inspected the empty shackle and it wrapped around me and I was bound there forever. Bound for eternity, you saw the need for impermanence. And it was through that need that you carved our freedom. That's not true, though. I mean, I did see the need for impermanence from my character's perspective. But I didn't carve our freedom through that, or did I? Was my character realizing that they wanted impermanence from that. Was that, in a way, giving the princess her freedom? Like, was that giving her permission to leave because I wanted to leave? Because I wanted impermanence? That gave her permission to leave? I don't know. Maybe it did. It didn't really give me an explanation for that. So maybe.
Without impermanence, the suffering of living things is infinite. Would you strip my gifts away and leave everyone to suffer in the dark?
Plug it over at the Siren as a gift in time. That would be torture. I mean, I don't know if it would be torture. I don't know if they would get over it. I don't know if they would see it as a gift. I don't know any of this. But I kind of want to respond because if I respond, it might give me more options. I don't know if I should. I guess I'll overwrite this one. Because I was only really saving it because I was afraid that it would do something weird. And it didn't, so. I guess I'll click this one.
It would. Our purpose is to be and to experience. And their purpose is the same. To be permanent is to cease. To be paused is to be trapped.
It does not sound like that. From what the narrator said, people would forget and then re-experience everything. So they wouldn't be permanent. Their physical form would be permanent, but their psychological form would not be. If what he said was correct, maybe I'm supposed to assume that he's wrong. I don't know. This clash between you abates and you begin to shake, your will rapidly dissolving.
Nothing is immutable. Everything that is exists only in relation to everything it isn't. There is no constant. There is no center. Open your eyes and accept what we are. We can leave this prison together.
It's easy to believe in the things you believe in when you get to sit above it all. What do you think happens if we leave here? Both of those sound good. I was told there was enough of you and me to preserve meaning in existence. I'm going to trust that is true. Huh. There's enough of you and me to preserve the meaning of existence. That's really vague, though. What do you define as the meaning of existence? I have to fight for a better world. I'm so sorry. Damn near interesting. It is, isn't it? You are cruelty itself, and I cannot let you exist. I have no reason to believe that. I don't know what the answer is, but there has to be something else. It can't be this. I won't kill you, but I won't let you free. You've done everything you can to make me understand your perspective, but you keep dismissing mine. If you think you can change me, then I must be able to change you. That's a good one. But we have more explore options up here first, before we choose anything. I don't know if I get to ask both of these or just one. But this is the one I wanna ask more. Because I already know what answer I'm gonna get from her if I ask this. It's a valid one, but I already know what I'm gonna get from her, so.
This universe dies, and a new one is born. And that one dies, and a new one is born. And you and I get to witness it all, weaving a tapestry of life wherever we go.
So this is what I was thinking about earlier when I was talking about what other things might happen. I mean, from everything I've heard, just logically comparing it all, trying to separate, you know, the facts from the biases, it sounds like roughly all of it is going to be the same. Except potentially if she lives and I die, because they haven't really talked about that. So I can't speak too much on that. But it sounds like with the two options that we have talked about, which is us leaving together or me killing her and staying here without her, it sounds like they kind of be more or less the same in my perspective. You know, because if I live and she dies, life doesn't necessarily end, this universe stays alive. But no other new universes are born. It's just this one that stays alive. And people forget things and then they are, you know, reborn mentally into the same body and learn and experience things again and then they forget again. That's basically living and dying. And it's contained within this universe. Whereas if we both get out, people live and die. And I don't know if people, like, are born, give birth, die, and that life gives birth and dies and like that, or if it's just they exist and don't die until we leave. But either way, it seems like it's the same thing. It's just that the body dies when the mind dies. And then new bodies and new minds are reborn instead of it the other way around where just the mind dies but the body continues to live. I don't value the life of the body in that sense. I mean, I believe the body and the mind are one in reality, but this is something, you know, this is a game, not reality. So from my perspective and my view on things, it seems like they're basically the same. It's just hers maybe has, if we both leave together, there's maybe more variety to the cycle of existence, but there's still a cycle of existence either way. Just the body dies in one and the body doesn't die in the other. Which, if all of what I've just said is the truth and is the case, I think I would choose hers over the other one because there's, you know, at least there's one less death in that way because she doesn't die. And people are gonna die as far as I'm concerned either way. Whether it's they die mentally or they die physically and mentally together. But they're still gonna die for all intents and purposes. Too much thinking, where's the battle pass? There's no battle pass for this game, Spoon. This game is all thinking. What you talking about? I don't want no battle pass. Go to Destiny for that shit. This is a lot of thinking, though. It's not as brain-breaking as the thinking I was doing earlier today, though. Did someone say Destiny? Oh my god. Modspan, Ember, they mentioned the game. Yes, I can't even mention it on my own stream. It's banned. I've committed a crime against my own stream. Okay. So I can still say that. Alright, I'll say that first.
It is from my vantage point that I can see the totality of truth.
I never wanted to fight you, but how do we leave? I can't let that happen. I can't let everything die. I was told there was enough of you made of remaining resistance. I'm gonna trust that's true. I have to fight for a better world. I'm so sorry. Your cruelty itself. I don't know what the answer is, but there's something else. It can't be this. I won't kill you, but I won't let you free. Yeah, what happens if we both stay in here? I think that was a question I could have asked the narrator, and I wasn't able to get to it. I'll definitely have to remember to ask that one when I go back to those questions. But you keep dismissing mine. If you think you can change me, then I must be able to change you. I think I'm gonna go with this one. This seems like the best option. I think I am gonna save. I'm gonna overwrite this one. And I'm gonna save before I choose this.
What I offer
I think
you
this
is
is
not
a-
perspective. It is truth.
Well, you're again dismissing my
Whatever
perspective.
you're trying to do right now, you don't have
Oh,
to do it alone.
he's back. Okay, so I do get more options now. Which hero are you? You have no idea how good it is to hear you. I can do this alone, whereas everyone else, how are you supposed to help? I thought the voices weren't allowed here. I thought you died whenever I looked in the mirror. I think this one.
I don't think that's wrong, but I'm not sure it's right either. But we can worry about all that later.
Alright.
She's too many things all at once out here. If you want to get through to her, you need some way to get through all of that divine confidence.
Okay, so there is a way to get through to her then.
There's still a piece of me nestled close to where it all began. I can take you there. I can take you to her heart.
Oh.
It's time to resume our dance.
She's relentless, isn't she? Let's make this quick. Are you ready?
Oh. What if I wanted to ask him more things? I'm ready. No, I can do this out here on my own. Say nothing. Oh, but I wanted to ask more things. Hold on. I think I'm gonna go back and see if I can ask more things before that. Because I forgot to check if there was, like, which ones were explore options and which ones were determinative. So. Oh, Elgato. Load this one. Yes. Dismissing 9. Okay, I'm gonna choose the same option there.
Whatever you're trying to do,
Okay, so yeah. There's only one that's explore. Let's
all of them?
just try
I
this
assume
out.
in the
I
same
can always
way
go
that
back if
you're all of you.
it doesn't let me ask more things. But I just want to know how much I can talk in here before it moves me on to the next stage. I'm all of them, I assume, in the way that you are all of you. To hear you. Let's just try some more of these. I think it looks like all of these are gonna like give me like the ultimatum thing, but I'm curious because I'd like to ask multiple things. I want to ask this one the most.
Apparently that's not true, but we can worry about it later. She's too many things.
Will
all
you
at
just say
once
that
out
every
here.
time then?
If you want
Whatever
to
you
get
ask,
through to her,
say
you need
we'll
some
worry
way
about
to
it
get
later.
through all of that divine confidence. There's still a piece of me nestled close to where
It's
The same
time
stuff.
to resume our...
she's relentless.
Alright, looks like it gets you roughly the same thing either way, so I guess I'll just stick with that choice. I guess I'm ready.
Then let's go.
Ooh.
Don't think any of the others have forgotten what you said at the mirror. They all talked, and they're not happy.
Ooh. What did I say at the mirror? That would piss off the voices.
But we can discuss that later. We have a job to do. Do you need me to describe things?
It's just us. I think the rest of them are still out there, jumbled up in the rest of her.
Okay, so they're there and they heard what I said in the mirror, but they're not here. Ready, really gone. Take the blade. It's never really gone.
Yeah, it's dead silent in here. Whatever it was that was left of him, I don't think it could handle you waking up to godhood. Pretty sure he got obliterated.
I thought. Good riddance. I don't actually know how to feel about him being gone. It's funny, after everything he put us through, I'm kind of sad to see him go. I don't know how to feel about him being gone.
Yeah, it's complicated. He put us through hell, but he's been part of us since the very beginning, hasn't he?
If the offer still stands, could you describe the cabin for me for old
Yeah.
time's sake?
Of course. The interior of the cabin is, well, it's a cabin, yeah? There isn't much here, just a table and a knife and a door. And some windows.
I think that's interesting to add. He adds and some windows. The narrator never mentioned the windows. But he's not mentioning what's outside the windows. But,
There's no mirror, either. I think you broke it.
I think I did. I wonder why the mirror was there. Because it was never there when I went in on the first time around. Because every time after you talk to her, after she gets her new vessel, it starts over and you have 2 times that you go through it before you get to talk to her again and bring her a new vessel. The first time, everything looks normal, everything sounds normal, and there's no mirror. The second time, everything looks different depending on what you chose the first time, and there's always a mirror. At least as far as I remember, there's always a mirror. So, I wonder why that was. Because obviously the mirror seems to have something to do with the narrator. But the narrator is there both times, and he's, a new version of himself both of those times. So I wonder why the mirror is only in the second one. Because the only thing that's different, or the only thing that's similar about the second version of all of them is that it's impacted by your decisions. But that has nothing to do with the narrator necessarily, so maybe we'll figure that out.
And I know you're still trying to find some middle ground, but if things go south, we're going to need that blade.
That's a good point, but also, the way I talk with her directly impacts who she is. And taking the blade is automatically going to put her on the aggressive and or defensive side. Also, I'm not trying to do the whole self-defense thing, because I'm more about getting to the truth of the matter and trying to decide what's best, and not about my own self-preservation. And I guess, having the knife could be a good option if I decide that killing her is the best option. It could help, but at the same time, it's going to set me up for a worse result. So, I think I'm going to go without the blade.
No blade it is. I'm not sure what we'll be able to do without it, but your judgment has gotten us this far. The stairs. Do you remember the first time we were here? The first time we heard her voice?
Have you figured out what you want to do yet, or are you going to keep trying to find a center that doesn't exist?
What's she talking about, a center that doesn't exist? What? She said that earlier, too. I feel like what I'm trying to find couldn't be described as a center. So I don't know what she means by center.
It sounded just like that. A little sharp, a little menacing. Only she didn't know us. And down we go. We shouldn't keep her waiting.
And there you are. Hands empty. So you don't feel like recreating our first meeting detail for detail. I wonder what else will be different.
Yeah, the first meeting I did bring the knife.
Maybe there's still room for us to chat before the final curtain call. What do you say?
She looks softer and sweeter, so I'm guessing that's because I didn't bring the knife. good to finally see you again. I'm sorry for all the times I've hurt you. I don't think I want to be a god. Are you the same as you are out there? Which princess are you? You look like you did the first time we met. Is this the real you? So now that we're here at the end of everything, can you finally tell me your name? None of this was ever really fair for either of us, was it? What do you think of her? What she wanted us to be? What if we just leave? Huh. I think I'll start with this one, because these are all explorers, so I should be able to say all of them.
Right back at you. In a way, it hasn't been much time at all, but it feels like it's been forever since I've seen you. Thanks for coming back.
I'm sorry for all the times I've hurt you.
The first time we met, I cut your throat open. If anyone should be apologizing for anything, it should be me. You're only trying to help.
That's
You
true.
know, when she puts it like that,
She has killed me almost every time, if not every time. I don't think I want to be a god. Are you the same as you are out there? Which princess are you? Interesting that changes. That what changes? Ikuda. The dialogue. Did it change? Based on who kills who? Oh yeah. That is a very cool detail, isn't it? And the dialogue earlier was, I'm sure, different or personalized, shall I say, too. Because I didn't bring the knife this time, and I did bring it the first time, and so I got that specific dialogue. Are you the same as you were out there? Which princess are you? You look like you did me the first time we met. Is this the real you? I guess this one. Which princess are you? You look like we met. Is this the real you? I feel like there was another one that was similar to this that was there before, and now I don't see it. I should have probably saved earlier. I should have, but I guess I'll save now. Better late than never. I guess I'll just ask
I'm the
this.
same princess that's been with you since the beginning. And I feel real.
How is she different from the amalgamation of all of them, then?
But I also feel like I'm a lot more than I was then. We've been through a lot together. I don't think there's anything more real than that.
I guess this is kind of what I was asking. Are you the same as you are out there?
I don't know. I'm a part of her, I think. But she's seen so much more than we have. Like, she's seen everything, right? I don't think I could hold all of that without losing myself. I don't think you could either.
Okay, so I think that this person here is the memory of all of the princesses that I've met. All of the memories that I have, but from the princess's perspective, is what this person is. And what the amalgamation is all of those princesses, but also the knowledge of everything else that she's observed while living in that sort of liminal space and thinking in that liminal space. That's what I'm getting from this. And I guess it's kind of talking about the whole point that, you know, most people, if not everyone, who has that amount of power and knowledge would be able to hold on to their integrity or their true self which I don't think I necessarily believe in, but who knows? Interesting perspective nonetheless. I guess I'll just go down the line because I really want to ask all of them, and it looks like I can, so I don't think I want to be a god.
Doesn't matter what we call ourselves. It's just another label, and I don't think labels have ever helped us. All they do is cram us into boxes where we don't fit.
Mm-hmm.
Just like this
That's
cabin.
fair. So now that we're here at the end of everything, can you finally tell me your name?
I never had one. And do not call me the Shifting Mound. It's too much.
Yeah.
But I've always been a princess to you, right? So why don't we stick with that? And as for you, well, hero works for me.
But that's me. You know, I think I like that.
None of this was ever really fair for either of us, was it?
No, it really wasn't. But just because it hasn't been fair doesn't mean that it hasn't been worth it. I'm really glad I got to know you.
What do you think of her? What she wanted us to be?
I don't think she's the sort of thing you can really disagree with. It doesn't matter if she's right or wrong because she exists. She's this big, unrelenting force, and there's no arguing with her.
Is that true, though? Because if that is true, then she can't really have, like, a consciousness in that same way that humans necessarily do. Should be more like a program. But, I mean, even a program has the capacity to be changed, so... You know, is it supposed to be true that there's nothing you can do to change her? But even that in of itself seems like a contradiction to what we've learned before, because it sounds like she changes to whatever people believe her to be. So, to say there's no arguing with her seems very wrong, because simply by believing her to be something else should make her something else from what we've learned, unless what we've learned isn't true. So what's the truth here? Is she this big force that has no capacity to change or to learn or to think for herself in that sort of way? Or is she this fluid thing that changes constantly to what other people see her to be? Like, these are very contradicting things that they're explaining her to be.
But I guess that was the question out there, wasn't it? And it was the question before you came down here, too. Should she get to exist? I'm glad you didn't bring that knife with you. And like I said earlier, I don't really want to be her. I think I just want to be me.
Yeah,
Alright.
I'm happy not to be everything. Just being us is plenty.
And that's all that's left. What if we just leave?
Do you know where this cabin is? Because I don't. I don't even know what's supposed to be outside other than us. What would even happen if we leave? What would that even mean?
I don't know. I should probably save here. So I could explore, take her hand in yours, or say, I don't know, but I've always wanted to leave with you. I just didn't like being a god. I want to walk through that cabin door as we are, just you and me. Not knowing what it means is why I want it. We knew everything out there, but we don't know this. I want to know this. Not knowing what means. We knew everything out there, but we don't know this. I want to know this. Doesn't matter what happens or what it means. What matters is that we're leaving together. That's all I want. I guess let's explore, because I should be able to choose one of those after. I guess the only difference that makes is it gives me this option. I don't feel like we knew everything out there, so this is incorrect. It doesn't matter what happens or what it means. What matters is that we're leaving together. That's all I want. I don't agree with that. I think it does matter what happens or what it means. That's a nothing answer, so... I mean, I guess that sums up a part of it. I mean, I want to know the answers to everything. I want to make the right decision, but... I guess this is close enough.
I want that too.
I think I'm gonna stay right here. Whatever you're doing right now, wherever you're going, it feels like it's for just the two of you.
Huh. Are you going to be okay alone? Thanks for everything. Are you sure you don't want to come? This doesn't make any sense. We said we were both leaving. This says we're both leaving. So, why does it sound like we're gonna leave each other?
Yeah, I'm not sure I'll be alone for too long anyways.
Oh, no, I'm talking to the hero.
The others are still around here somewhere. I'll find them.
Okay. I kind of want to go back now, because I would have maybe chosen something else if I knew who I was talking to, but... Oh well. Probably doesn't matter too much. It's quiet as you ascend, a comfortable silence filling a space that used to be flooded with violence and words and noisy thoughts. But there is an energy in the silence and electricity, the anticipation of the unknown. At the top of the stairs, the princess stalls, eyes fixed on the cabin door. You feel her hand trample in yours. She's unsure of herself for the first time in her long and short existence. So is it supposed to be that she's the center that they were talking about? I don't know. She has no part to play anymore, and she knows this, yet she still is. What does it mean she has no part to play anymore? Does that mean, like, if we leave here, then she doesn't have to be the god? She has no part to play in that whole mess of existence, or what? And then she crosses the room to the door outside, pulling you excitedly with her.
This is it. I have no idea what it's gonna be like out there. Not that I'm scared or anything. It's exciting, really. Anything could happen. And if it's bad, then it won't be bad. Not with you.
Just going to open it. Are you ready? I love you. Neither of us knows what's going to be like out there. Open the door. I don't know if I can only say one of these or if I can say all of them. I guess I'll say this one.
It's something new. But whatever it is, we'll face it. Together.
I guess that was the end of it. And that's it, I guess. I want to know, though, by doing that, what option, like what thing happens? Does that mean that we are relinquishing our godhood and just being humans living in this universe? And if so, do those godhoods, so to speak, do those continue existing? Do they latch onto something else? Do they just exist, like conjoin and kind of do what would have happened if we had joined ourselves together just without our intention behind it? Do they dissipate completely? And with all of those things, how does that affect the universe? Does this one just keep on going and no one dies at all? Or does, like, you know, there's no rebirth and everyone eventually just dies and peters off and that's the end of life? Or does it, other life on other universes start blossoming simultaneously, or one after the other, or not at all? I don't know. Who fucking knows? She took a screenshot of this. Explore, join the Discord, join our mailing list, join the subreddit, follow us somewhere else, make your playlist, play our other game, turn to the main menu. I want to do that. Yes, let's see in the Discord what yeah, I'll enter that more so later. Mailing list, subreddit, follow, make your playlist. I don't know what that means really. Play our other game for free? Probably not. Let's do this then. Still a lot of unanswered questions. I don't know what happens by us leaving that way. I mean, for all I know, by walking out, she just like consumes herself in that same way that it always happens, where the hands reach out and she disappears and we go back to that same room, or that same liminal space. I would think that probably wouldn't happen, because it just doesn't really feel right narratively, but I don't know. I think I gotta turn down this light though. It's a bit much now that, you know, it's darker outside. But I want to know more things. Where do I go back to, though? Huh. I guess to get more answers, the best thing would be to go here. But also, another question I have is, how different would have this whole conversation have gone depending on the other things I chose? Like, on the other vessels that I gave her. Like, would she have been this sort of egotistical if things had gone another way? How different would she be if I had chosen other options in this state? And how would my choices here differ, and how would they change here? Because I know when I watched Markiplier, we chose very good point. Guess we'll have to find out. Yeah, I'm definitely going to play a lot of this still. But I guess, because I watched Markiplier play this, and he played very differently in all of the cabins and gave her very different vessels. Yes, he was still able to get this same like ending choice that I was. So that makes me think that it's not as wide of an array of options you can get, or I guess the vessels that you give her don't have much, if any, of an impact on the options of the ending you get based on of this conversation. But regardless of any of that, I think the first place to go to start getting some more answers is to go to the beginning of this mirror thing and do this over at least one more time to try to ask other questions that I didn't get to ask the first time. And then doing stuff here might be different as well, but I'm not sure. Regardless, let's start here. Let's see. Let's ask this first.
A construct. It was supposed to keep the two of you trapped here until the job was done, and it was supposed to guide your hand to help you see things through.
That's what this liminal space is, with the cabin and everything. So I guess we're like contained almost within ourselves, because we're supposed to be one thing, or we were one thing, and then we were separated into two things, but trapped within our own mind, almost in a way, maybe.
The construct you're in exists in every world at once. Any time you failed, any time you thought yourself dead, it would restart and shunt both you and her into a new world.
Huh. So the construct you're in exists in every world at once. Thanks, Makuda. Anytime you failed, anytime you thought yourself dead, it would restart and shunt both you and her into a new world. So I guess the construct exists in every world at once, kind of like, you know, a bunch of circles overlapping each other, and the construct kind of being in the middle of all of those overlapping bits. And anytime I failed, it would restart and shunt both you and her into a new world. How can it shunt us into a new world if the construct exists in every world at once?
But you're waking up to your true nature now. It won't be able to work like that anymore.
Okay. So you do know about the looping. So many of the times I met you, you denied it as even being a possibility. Why did you lie to me? I think I already know the answer to that, because I got him to admit that he knew the looping earlier on. And he said he lied. This was before I was streaming it, but he said he lied because the less I knew, the more likely I was going to get the right response. But I guess maybe now that he knows that I know, he would give even more of a response. So let's ask that.
Any other version of me you talked to was just that, a version of me. It wasn't me. As to why they lied, perhaps they thought that admitting to it would have pushed you to certain realizations that would have made finishing your task impossible. Maybe they were just in denial. I'm sure many of them were convinced that they had to be the first version of them you'd encountered. Anything else would have been too existentially unpleasant. For all I know, each of those other versions of me could have had entirely different understandings of how this construct works. Who's to say which of them are right and which of them are wrong, really?
Okay, so not
except for me.
Too much.
I can tell you for a fact that I'm right.
Can you? That's what you say every time, bro. Let's do this one. What are you? Are you something like me? I already kind of know the answer, but I want to know if he'll give me any more information.
Oh, I'm nothing like you. I'm an echo, likely one of many. Somebody made you after all, and I'm what's left of him. Not that I'm the only one who can make that claim. I'm sure you've met many others like me.
So it's basically the same thing as the other similar option I chose. I already know the answer to that. Are you a part of me or are you something else? Versions of you said that before, so it really was meeting different yous. If you made me, then what am I?
You're the long quiet, the god I made to rid the world of death.
I thought you made me and the princess together and then as one and then separated us into two. Let's go to the bottom. This is where the new stuff generally is. How am I supposed to rid the world of
By
death?
slaying the princess. Once she's gone, everyone will get to exist exactly as they are. No more fear, no more howling chaos, just life. Forever.
He didn't say anything about that forgetting and then remembering, or forgetting and then relearning and all of that time. Well, let's go to the top first in case there's anything new there. No. Okay, back to the bottom. This is the one I wanted to ask earlier, I think. What is the princess? Did you make her too?
She is the shifting mound, the ebb and flow, the capacity to change. She is transformation.
I think I did ask this
most
one.
of it. Her nature is why I had to die, for she becomes that which others perceive her to be. So I tucked a part of myself into the folds of this construct to guide you. Seems that every me you met did a real shit job of it, though.
With slightly new conversation. I kind of want to ask this one because by asking it, I might get the answer to if I do just be me in the way that we ended it earlier. Does that separate me from the godhood? I don't know if he's going to answer that question that I have by me asking this question. It's a separate question, but I think we should find out.
You are you. And if you would let everything work the way it was supposed to, you never would have woken up to the reality of your true nature. There's no accounting for free will.
You are you, and if you had let everything work out the way it was supposed to, as in killing the princess, I guess, you never would have woken up to the reality of your true nature. So I guess the idea is if I killed her and then I stayed alive and stayed there, which is what he wanted, I never would have become a god. So it's possible for me, or I guess I never would have fulfilled my godhood. I still would have had the potential to be a god, the nature to be a god, but I never would have necessarily fulfilled it. So maybe that's what happens when we both leave then, is we have the potential to be gods, but we reject it in a way. We don't wake up to it, potentially. couldn't you have told me all this at the start? I would have hoped to destroy her. I mean, I wouldn't have, but I'm curious as to what he would say to that. If she's capable of becoming whatever people believe her to be, can I just will her into something small? That's a good one. I think I'm gonna ask this one next.
As you are now, you won't be able to will her into anything. You don't work the way a living being does. Not anymore. And as you were before, you couldn't be trusted with the knowledge of what she is. No one could be trusted with that knowledge. Intrusive thoughts have a way of creeping in and ruining everything. It's why I had to die.
So was he having intrusive thoughts too then? Those voices telling him to do other things, maybe. So I guess maybe that's also why I couldn't resist the princess at the end there. Perchance. Maybe I couldn't resist the princess at the end there because she was so powerful and I was, you know, becoming so powerful that I wasn't human in that same sense anymore. And so because I wasn't human, I didn't have the ability to mold her in the way that I previously had. And maybe that's why I was so out of control at that point. Or why I had no autonomy in that last encounter, potentially. So maybe he's saying, because no one can be trusted with the knowledge of what she is because intrusive thoughts have a way of creeping in and ruining everything. And that's why I couldn't be trusted with the knowledge. So maybe it's saying, like, if I knew, my intrusive thoughts would have made it so that I would have believed her to be something that would be bad because of the intrusive thoughts, and therefore would have created her to be bad. And that's why I had to die. But that doesn't make any sense because he was a god even greater than me, which means that he wouldn't have been able to influence her either. Which means that his intrusive thoughts shouldn't have had any way to influence that, so that is confusing. Let's go to the bottom, start there. This was a question I had earlier. Can we just stay here together and leave the people out there alone?
It wouldn't work. Her nature as the shifting mound makes it so nothing can last forever as it is now. It wouldn't matter how long the two of you waited. Eventually she would find a way to leave. And then everything would change. Everything would face oblivion.
Okay, yeah, and that's why I had to kill her because and had to survive myself. Because if I kill her and I stay in there, then everything stays the way it is, of things being stagnant and unchanging, and people not dying, and maybe the cycle of forgetfulness, if that's even true, because everything's been weird about that. But everything would freeze in that way because I would be stuck in this liminal space. And she would be dead, so she wouldn't have the ability to get herself out. Whereas if I die too, you're very invested in this, aren't you? I am. It's interesting. This is what my autism likes. It likes to hyper focus and tear apart things like this. It's very easy for me to get hyper focused on this kind of stuff. But if I die too, if I kill her, or she dies and I die, then that universe that I was in dies and we both get reborn. So I guess in a way she could never truly die. Where would you rate this on your games? I don't know. I don't know if I can rate this compared to other games because it's like barely a game. It's more of like a story, like reading a story, or like a series of moral and psyche type questions. I don't think I can really relate it to other games. I think I would hurt my brain if I tried. But so far I think it is good. I still don't know if it's really understanding the point I was trying to make, or like acknowledging or invalidating the perspective that I have on it, which would lessen my rating on it if that is the case. But I also don't know for sure, because I don't know if there was a miscommunication between me and the game, or if the game doesn't have any way that it would understand my perspective, if that makes sense. I have to find that out later. So yeah, in a way, she wouldn't be able to die. And things existing the way they are would rely on me being able to stick it out. And the narrator believes that she could never stick it out because she is change. But I could stick it out because I am what exactly? He's never really said what I am. We've talked about her, how she's change and how she's creation and how she's fluid and whatever. We haven't talked about what I am, because we were both the same thing. I guess I am choice, I am free will, I am decision. But then how does that work if we combined? I still need to find out what happens if I do go with her and combine into that godhood. I don't know.
And until then, the clock ticks on.
I think this is my last question that I really get to ask. Oh my god, there's so many. Is there a difference between leaving this place and staying here? I guess I'll ask that. I need to ask a lot more things.
There is. It's the difference between being stranded on a desert island and being stranded on a desert island with a leopard that can't die. Either option is great, especially when there's a third option where you get rid of the island and give everyone a chance to finally be happy.
I want to know what he says when I say this.
Well, there's no reasoning with a god, even one you've woven into existence yourself. I've said my piece, and my time is up. It's like I said, I'm just an echo, and echoes always fade away.
Okay. So I think I can go back now. That's about the end of that thing. I guess what I want to do... next is I want to see what happens if I join with her. And I guess also what happens if I kill her here. I guess I'll say this one. these should be the same things, but this one seems more interesting.
Nothing brings me greater joy than to hear those words. The final piece lies with you.
You fall into yourself. The body of an ancient creature stirs from its hibernation. You feel sensation in limbs you once couldn't fathom. Everything here, except for her, is you. You feel your wings spanning a cosmic scale, but twisted and crumpled and bound in agonized tension to a finite plane. Twisted and crumpled and bound in agonized tension to a finite plane. You can feel the glass of the construct pressing in on you, confining you across infinite sides and infinite angles. You push back and strain against it, but it does not yield. All at once, the unyielding tension breaks. Oh, goddamn. You are free and she is with you.
It's magnificent.
There are no words, no thoughts. You describe absolute reality, something that simply is. What happens now?
Everything. Just like it always has been. And just like it always will be.
Everything, just like it always has been, just like it always will be. You and she step forward into 1,000 dawns and 1,000 sunsets, each of which contains 1,000 more. Trippy, I know, right? You exist and you are aware, just of you as always, just as you have always been, and just as you will always be. Though conflict is in your nature, the two of you will never be alone. Though conflict is in your nature, the two of you will never be alone, and the two of you will never know fear. You and she are finally home. Interesting. So I wonder what exactly all of that means. Skip, please. Okay. Is that's what happens if you go with her? That switch from music is a bit jarring. Oh, well, yeah, a little bit. Okay, I kind of want to ask this one, but I also just want to know what happens if I slay the princess. I guess I'll do this one first.
There is no something else. This, what we are, is everything.
Whatever you're trying to do right now, you don't have to do it alone.
Oh. So I still get the voice of the hero here. Because this one's going to be more complicated. Hold on. Let's go back then. We'll do this one after. I want to know more information before I delve into this. Let's do this one. I was told there was enough of you and me to preserve meaning and existence. I'm going to trust that's true. Slay the princess.
Even now you think you can destroy me. If it takes all of eternity to break your delusion, I will still break it.
You don't have to face her alone.
Huh. Okay, well, I guess I'll just go with this, and then I'll go back and do the other one, but this is interesting.
After all the times you told me that mirror was going to kill me, I'm genuinely surprised you missed me. But you don't have to get into all that. I'm here now. That's what matters. You'll never be able to strike a decisive blow from out here. There's still a piece of me nestled close to where it all began. I can take you there. I can take you to her heart.
Still a piece of me nestled close to where it all began.
It's
Interesting.
time to resume our dance.
She's relentless, isn't she? Let's...
What happens if I say no? Oh, there's so many... Hold on. I think I am gonna save here. Because there's quite a lot of things I could choose here. Let's do this first.
You can't, and lucky for you, I'm not going to
Oh.
let you try.
Okay. I guess... I guess whatever I choose, it ends up in this.
Do you need...
I'm just gonna skip past this because it's the same stuff. So it's letting me choose to not take the blade. I wonder if that means it gives me the same situation. Like, regardless of whether I said I was gonna kill her or wanted to kill her or not, that it would be the same. I could do that to find out, but also, like, I kind of was doing this to see what happened if I slayed the princess, so I
probably
think
for
I
the-
am gonna take that. I think it probably would be at least somewhat the same. Yeah, let's just... I don't need any answers.
The stairs.
We both know why you're here.
It sounded just like that. And down we go. We shouldn't keep her waiting.
Okay.
And there you are, knife in hand. That sight brings me back. You're going to do it then, aren't you? You're really going to kill me. You'll have all of eternity to yourself after this. Why don't we chat a little before I go?
No chains this time. Was there no chains last time? I think so. I'm gonna sit with her first. I want to see if there's new dialogue options. So that's a new option. But I feel like that's not really gonna get me any answers. Don't want to hurt anyone. Way out of this. That's a new one. So there are a lot of new answers or questions.
Well,
Let's try
I
that
don't
one.
want to be at the end of that knife, so how about we figure something out? What if we tried doing this forever? I can do whatever you think I can, right? So, make me put it all back. Make me fix the Echo's construct and make me wipe our memories of everything that's happened. Make me send us back to the beginning, before we woke up. Before either of us saw the truth.
Fix the Echo's construct. She would fix the construct, but the Echo would still be gone, wouldn't he?
Can she really do that?
That's a good one. Gonna find ourselves back here eventually. It's a good one. That's a good one. what's her plan? Oh yeah, to just redo the cycle over and over. I wonder if you do choose to do that and it does reset everything. Does it like fully reset it completely in the game? Or does it actually give you new options and do you get to come to this realization with the thoughts of all of the first time you went through this too? I wonder. That's a question for another day though. Okay, let's start at the top. Getting it do anything to help them, the people out there, if you continue to exist and they continue to die and suffer?
Fixing that is on you, not me. If you want me to help them, you'll have to make me help them.
Okay, it's not really an answer. We're gonna find ourselves back here eventually.
And if we do, nothing is stopping us from making the same choice. We could just keep doing this forever.
Talking about this right now, how do we know we haven't done this before?
I don't think that's something we'll ever get to know. But odds are we've probably done it before.
So then the narrator would have to be fixed once the construct was fixed then. If that's the case. Otherwise, like, if the narrator really did die and there's no bringing him back or recreating the versions of him, then this would have to be the first time. What if when I make my way back home, or back here, I'm different and I hurt you? What if I kill you? What if I let you bring about the end of everything? This isn't fair. I want to be here with you. I don't want to be alone again. Any other way. Let's just ask as many of them as we can. How do you know things won't end worse? What if I'm different and I hurt you and I kill you? Bring about the end of everything.
Who cares? We've hurt each other plenty and I still like you. And if you're hesitating, then you must still like me, too.
We have to decide to do this every single time forever. Eventually something's going to be different. What if we change our minds? I kind of already asked that, but maybe we'll get a different answer.
Well, if we change our minds, we change our minds. What matters is that we'll always have a choice. This is just the one we're making now.
It's true. I need to turn this camera because I'm not sitting in the same place I was. I don't want to forget you.
That's sweet. But unless you do, the whole world ends, right? Not like I care, but it seems important to you.
Isn't fair. I want to be here with you. I don't want to be alone again.
Neither do I. But we won't be alone for long. I'll be right here, waiting for you.
Is there any other way?
You brought that knife down here for a reason. Either you use it to kill me, or I use it to put things back.
Take it all back. I don't want this. I don't want to kill you. It's too late to go back to being a god. Since this is an explore option and not like a solidified option, I'm guessing the answer is no. But I guess it's explore, so I should be able to just click it and find out. I guess I could save if I wanted to, just in case. I could just save over this one, because that one, it didn't really give me any other options.
Yeah, I think it's too late for that. But maybe next time.
Alright, that's what I thought. Yeah, so I can either agree to our plan and do everything again, which I should do sometime, or I can slay the princess. I'm gonna do this. I want to find out what happens. I think
You and me
Markiplier did do
both.
this, but
Whatever world you want to build without me, I hope it works out.
that's so sad and
Despite our
depressing. I don't want to
differences,
do this.
Always loved you, and I wish you nothing but the best.
I want to know though, because I didn't pay a whole lot of attention when Markiplier did it, or I guess I don't remember it super well. So, you blink, the princess is gone. All you have left of her is a small melancholic weight that sits at the borders of your heart. The tear was rough. You carry a part of what should be her, and she carried a part of what should be you. Things won't be now as they were then, but they are nothing either. So sad. Murders.
She's gone. And I don't think she's coming back.
No, she's not. A small part of her is with us. Let's try that.
Is that a metaphor, or are you being literal? It doesn't matter. We don't need to linger down here anymore. Let's get going.
Alright.
It's quiet here.
Path and the woods outside are an empty canvas, but there's even more to see beyond this place. The fruits of your labor, a world free from death. Set yourself free. Body of ancient creature stirs from its hibernation. You feel a sensation in limbs that you once couldn't fathom. Everything here is you. You feel your wings spanning a cosmic scale, but twisted and crumpled and bound in agonizing tension to a finite plane. Feel the blast of the contract pressing you, finding to cross sides, blah 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 blah. We've already seen that. It does not
He's
yield.
gone. She's gone. No one is left to trap us here but us.
Open your heart and bear witness to your new kingdom. All at once, the unyielding tension gives way. And then the shatter. You are free, and before you lies the endless expanse of absolute reality, a new absolute reality. One forged by your will and by a long and arduous cycle of bloodshed that has stained your hands countless times over. There will be no more bloodshed in this new
We
world.
never left. We've just been quiet, hiding somewhere else. But we don't
Forgetting
need
the
to
voice.
be quiet any longer.
So the voices never left, they've just been quiet, hiding somewhere else.
You should never make assumptions about things you don't know, like whether or not the voices in your head will be gone for good. Slaying our beloved and threatening us with damnation. There's no good ending for you. I'm sorry. They all know what you did. Voices get around. Knives out, boys. It's time to get to work.
And that's it. Okay. So it seems like the game definitely doesn't agree with the choice to do that, to kill the princess and to rid the world of death. Because when you join the princess, lol, when you join the princess, it shows, like, plants growing and life happening, and there's, you know, happiness and craziness and whatever. And then you choose this one, and there's just like a flaming sun and wind blowing like this. Sounds like a whole lot of nothingness. Which is interesting because, like, what they've been saying the whole time is that, like, you are the long quiet. And this, what I'm seeing, sounds like a long quiet. What it doesn't sound like is endless life without death. There's no life. There was life when you chose to go with the princess. It looked like endless life there. This looks like endless death. Which is fitting for the long quiet, so I'm curious what's up with the whole idea of it being endless life if she dies and whatever, because that doesn't align with the long quiet, like I said earlier, and that doesn't align with what I'm seeing at this ending. Is it just the creators of the game view endless life to be really bad and whatever, and so they just make it look like this because that's how they perceive it to be, whereas it's supposed to be that the people who say, everyone who's saying that that's the case is lying or misguiding you one way or the other, or is misinformed, you know? I don't know. But let's go back and choose that one other option. I don't think it's going to really give me anything different, because it looks like it's just going to send me back down there and I'm going to have all the same options. But just for shits and giggles, let's find out. Just see if there's anything new. Maybe then it's a lie. That's what I'm thinking, because it looks like it's a lie. But then also, why would the narrator want the end of everything like that? And yet at the same time, like, dismiss you when you say that you're fine with the end of everything. When you choose, like, the nihilistic responses, the narrator doesn't say, okay, yeah, if you believe that too, then I'm gonna tell you what I believe. He, like, says that you're weird or whatever for saying that, so. But that doesn't mean that it's not a lie. It's interesting. Nonetheless. But I mean, also maybe the narrator is misguided. Maybe the narrator does believe that, but the narrator has been lied to or has been mistaken. It seems like one way or another, it's not a truth. It is misinformation, whether it's... Oh, look at that. But yeah, whether it's intentionally misinforming to me or unintentionally misinforming me, it seems like it's misinformation either way. Which, you know, it's curious why is there that misinformation there? And why isn't it ever stated as misinformation directly? Let's go do that last one, and then we'll call it good for the stream. I don't think it's going to be different, but I want to find out, and I want to just end the stream in my playing episode, because I'm going to get up and get dinner with something that feels not as bad as the worst option it seems that you can pick. So where was it that I choose that? Was it here? I think. I still have to go back to the other one and ask her more questions, I think, but that's for another day. The answer is, but there has to be something else. It can't be this. I won't kill you, but I won't let you free. Yeah, this is the one.
There is no something else. This, what we are, is everything.
Whatever you're trying to do right now, you don't...
While we're at it, let's see if I can choose another option here. Have I chosen this one? I don't think so. I want to choose either this one or I can do this alone. You probably just say you can't, because I already tried that later on, so...
Apparently that's not true, but we can worry about it later.
But I'm not going to get to ask you later.
She's too many things all at once out. There's still a piece of me.
Alright. Let's just see what happens if I say no. I'm sure she's going to drag me in anyway, but...
Too bad.
Yeah.
We're going. Now.
Here we go. Let's go with my initial instinct.
No blade it is.
Continue down the stairs.
And down we go. We shouldn't keep her waiting.
And there you are. Hands, maybe there's still room for us to chat before the final curtain call.
Okay. Seeing you again, I'm sorry for all the times I've hurt you. I don't... Oh my god. same as you are out there. Which princess are you? So now that we're here at the end of everything, can you finally tell me your name? So these are all the same questions as when I chose my initial option. I mean, I've already asked all of these, so let's just do
you
that.
know where this cabin is? Because I don't. I don't even know what's supposed to be outside other than us. What would even happen if we leave? What would that even mean?
I feel like choosing different stuff here isn't really gonna matter, but let's try this.
I guess when you put it that way, well, I want that too.
That's the
I think
same
I'm gonna
response
stay right
too.
here.
Well, I get to choose this right because I know who I'm talking to. Thanks for everything. Are you gonna be okay alone? Are you sure you don't want to come?
Yeah, it wouldn't feel right. But I'll be okay. I don't think I'll be alone for long either. I'm sure I can find the others.
Alright. This is all the same. Yep, all the same. All the same.
This is it. I have no idea what it's gonna be like out there. Not that I'm scared or anything. It's exciting, really. Anything could happen. And if it's bad, then it won't be bad. Not with you.
I think all these are gonna give pretty much the same thing. I guess, are you ready?
Of course I am. Are you?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing and the same vibe. Alright then, well, got to do a couple things differently with that one. It turns out those different choices didn't really change pretty much anything, but there we go. There's still tons more to do with this. I need to ask more questions to the whole creation of her. I still have tons more questions even to ask the narrator, even though I already went back another time. I still need to go back at least once more, probably multiple times more, to really ask everything. And then, of course, going back and choosing different options when we're actually going through the cycles, especially, you know, the options of, like, steering away, like, just not engaging at all, not even going to the cabin, stuff like that. And also doing a run of just, like, being really aggressive every time and see if the amalgamation of her at the end acts differently and looks differently, and if the choices with her are different if you take the opposite approach of just being really violent and irrational. But that is all for tonight. I've been streaming a long time, and I need dinner, and I need to go to sleep. Also, there's some muscle that is, like, weirdly hurting here. Probably from all the talking I've been doing. Oh, look at all the bumblebees. Thanks for the bumblebees, Makuta. Oh my god. But yeah, that's it for tonight. So thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. And I stream Wednesdays and then once on the weekend. So if you're interested for more, check back in then. And I will see you next time. Bye!